These are the three most important lessons that I learned in 2025 in respect to generating leads for goldsmith shops. Now, if you're a goldsmith and need more customers, the number one step of getting more customers is generating an enormous amount of traffic. That's just the the first part of it, right? So I wanted to make a video because these three things, so consistency, volume, and simplicity, are plain and simple the three most important things to generate traffic. What I mean by that. So first of all, I have generated at this point hundreds of thousands of leads. Leads kind of that look like this, right? And I get their, for example, their phone number one, their email address, their last name, and their first name. These are basically just to be able to contact them and turn them into customers, right? So let's talk about consistency here. If I would talk, if I'll put consistency in my brain and try to draw it out, it would be basically this. So we would go like that, right? And with time, it would grow. So that's consistency. Just to give you a story, I last year, in the middle of last year, sort of June, July, I got into a slump because I was trying to make the perfect ads. So I was trying to grab the perfect hook, split test it a bunch of times, and then grab the best creative possible, split test the creative a bunch of times, and then split test the headline. I was just trying to split test all of that. Now, what happened was that I was very inconsistent in doing that. So I wasn't picking a cadence. So, for example, every Monday for 4 hours a day, every single Monday, right? So I wasn't doing that. But it wasn't getting me the results that I wanted. I was maybe getting 2 leads per day, which, you know, not best, right? I want more. So what I started to do is that every single Monday, 5 hours a day, first 5 hours of every Monday, I got up, brushed my teeth, took a shower, changed my clothes, went to the computer and made 10 new ads. I just made 10 new ads, right? And I did that every single Monday for about 4 months until October or something like that, end of October. And I started getting 16 leads a day on average, obviously. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but on average, 16 leads a day. Now, that was an enormous amount of volume that I put in terms of in compared to what I was doing before. But also, the most important thing is that I just did it every single Monday for about 3, 4 months, right? That's all. That's all I did. And obviously grew from what, 2 leads a day, 1 or 2 leads a day to an average of 16 leads a day. So that was just the consistency part of it, right? Now, the second part of it was volume, right? So if I put volume in this little drawing here, it would kind of look like this, right? It's just faster than consistency, right? Now, obviously, consistency plus volume is what will generate those big multiples of traffic in your business, right? So volume is by far the number one thing that I'm going to be doubling down on for 2026. And I would highly suggest, given my experience with lead generation, with traffic generation for goldsmith shops, is that volume is such a big, huge thing. It's just a huge component. I mean, from making maybe 1 ad a week to maybe 2 ads a week, to be fair, 2 ads a week, I was making 10 new ads a week every single week for 4 months, like massive amount. That's 40 different ads a month, right? So the the amount of creative of headlines of hooks that you're able to just test, just see what works best. It's just it will compress, right? So in 1 week, I was doing what I would be doing before in 2 months, right? Maybe more in just 1 week. And I did it every single week, right? So volume plus consistency was just huge for me in 2025. And I'm just going to double down on those two for 2026 as well. Because again, this is lead generation. It's just about volume, right? Now you add consistency plus to that, and you will be able to have an enormous amount of results for a long period of time, which is basically what we want, right? For local goldsmith shops. Oh, by the way, for any goldsmith who doesn't know what a lead is a person A stranger, complete stranger, who showed interest in your stuff by seeing an ad, right? They just saw an ad and they showed interest by giving you their contact info. So they gave you their name, their last name, their email, and their phone number so that you, the goldsmith shop owner, can actually call them up and sell them, right? Because they want your jewelry. And then I would say the third most important lesson of 2025 was simplicity, hands down. Because, for example, let's take, let's say, okay, so I'll just tell you some things that I've seen with goldsmiths is that, and you could say generally in small business owners, but I'll be talking to goldsmiths, obviously. So, what goldsmiths do is that they do, let's say, organic, they post content, and also they run a Google ad. So, they run an ad, right? And then they also message people and they do all of these three things for 1 week. And then after they do those three things for a week, they don't get any new customers, maybe one, maybe. They just go, oh, marketing just doesn't work. Right? Ads don't work. But what I have seen works best, and this is just my experience with generating hundreds of thousands of leads at this point, is that it works best when you just double down on one thing, right? Just double down on one thing. If you're going to do organic, then do, I don't know, 10 pieces of organic every single day and do zero other things. Zero. Don't message people. Don't run ads, right? Obviously, on organic you have to message people, right? But I'm talking as your main way of acquiring customers is not all three. It's not all four. It's not five different things, right? It's not cold calls plus cold email plus warm email plus warm DM plus cold DM plus ads on Google, then on Facebook, as well on Instagram, and maybe some on TikTok, then organic on TikTok, then organic on Facebook, then organic. Like it's just too much, too many different things. Do one thing, at least that's what that's what I've seen work best for me. Do one thing and do an enormous amount of that one thing and do it for a long period of time. That's it. So, consistency, volume, and simplicity is basically the takeaways of this video, and frankly, of the last year, and what I'm going to be doubling down on for 2026. The reason for this is that obviously you want to grow your goldsmith shop. Obviously, you want to have more customers. I suppose it's a really shitty feeling to walk into your goldsmith shop and just have no one walk in, right? Maybe for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And maybe someone walks in because they see your sign outside and maybe I'm just looking, just looking. And then they say, no, how much does this cost? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you. I'll come back. And then they just fucking leave. Like, it's a horrible feeling. It's a much nicer feeling when you have 10 new booked appointments every single day, 7 days a week, and you can close at least 30% of them. Like, that. It's a very nice feeling. So that is why we have to generate an enormous amount of traffic. That's the only reason. Now, generating traffic, I mean, that sounds a little bit, ambiguous, but what does generate traffic means? It means with your computer or with your cell phone, make a video or take a photo of your jewelry, ideally with someone wearing your jewelry, obviously women, because women in ads always work best instead of men with ads. Even jewelry for men works best if there are women in the ads. By the way, okay. So take a photo of a woman with your custom jewelry made on her, smiling, right? Very energetic, smiling, and then make 10 of those. Right, just take 10 photos of those. Make 10 videos of those. Go to Facebook Ads Manager, place the photo on there. Obviously, there are a lot of nuances there. Target the people you want to target. So you only sell to women. Then don't target men. Obviously, don't target all genders. Just put women. And if you target just women between certain ages, eliminate all other ages. Just target them. Now, don't get crazy with targeting, by the way. You just want to, if you sell to women between 25 and I don't know, 45, just put women 25 to 45 and then just don't touch the target anymore. And even that, you can also just put women. So targeting, and then you just put the your photos on there. You can also make headlines on the photo. You can put copy on the photo or on the video, which is better, by the way. That's what we do. And you say geographic location. So in our case, Stockholm City, or most of our cases, Stockholm City. So obviously, if you're in America, I don't know, New York City, I don't know, Boston, I don't even know. But if you're in America, you put the your local name, right? Road 123 in town X here. Okay. Geographic location. Then you put target market, which is normally just the gender, right? So target market, you put the gender, women, men, ladies wanted, women wanted, right? Men wanted, whatever. And then you insert your offer. Now, you could also just put geographic location and then target market and scrap the offer. It works perfectly well as well, right? You just put it on there, put the video, the photo on the ad, write the copy, write the headline, which is basically just copying the offer, right? 40-minute free custom dream wedding consultation, right? Right. And that's it. You run the ad. That's what getting traffic means in your, like, what do I do to get traffic? That's what it means. Do that, and do that an enormous amount of time. Obviously, you have to spend the money, right? You have to spend money and make money. So that's it. That's what getting traffic means. Now, some important things is that as entrepreneurs, at least in my case, I've seen this a lot with a lot of goldsmiths as well, is that after we do that, for example, we run the 10 ads, we want to do something else, something different, because our brain just tells us to do something different. But I've seen that you get the returns when you're able to be strong and not give in to your brain and just do that one thing. I've seen the most returns on that, at least on my end. I've generated over $80,000 at this point for Goldsmith Shops, just generating traffic with Facebook and Instagram, just doing that. Right. So I've seen the most returns when you just concentrate, you simplify everything, you just do one thing, right? Simplicity. Or you can also, instead of writing simplicity, you could also write just concentration, right? Focus. And then you do an enormous amount of it and you do it for a long period of time and you just don't stop, right? So those are my takeaways from 2025. Definitely, these are the three things, like consistency, volume, and simplicity or focus, right? That I'm going to be doubling down on in 2026. I'm also doing a lot of organic content like this video here for YouTube. I'm doing a lot of that consistently as well, right? Is the only point of this business is to generate more leads for goldsmiths, and consistency plus volume plus simplicity, that gets a lot of traffic.